Vajrajani, we'll take you through the next 1 hour of trade. But before we do that, with just a few days to go for the union budget, we've been speaking to India Inc., of course, to find out what is expected from the finance minister's speech, but also what the common man is expecting from the finance minister. Our correspondent Rishabh Bhatnagar spoke to people near Delhi to understand what the common man is expecting in terms of taxation. Listen in.
We're at the heart of Delhi. We're at Connaught Place, where the hustle and bustle is on this beautiful January afternoon, and I'm joined by gentlemen from 3 different sectors to understand what they feel about the budget that is coming up on February 1st. And given that they're all from 3 different sectors, we'll understand how taxes impact them and what sort of changes they are looking forward to. तो सबसे पहले मेरे साथ हैं पंकज जी, ये LIC में एक इंश्योरेंस एजेंट हैं. सर, आप बताइए, आप क्या लुक फॉरवर्ड टू कर रहे हैं? बजट फरवरी 1 को आ रहा है, निर्मला सीतारमण आएंगी, कुछ बदलाव बताएंगी. आप बताइए, आप क्या लुक फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं?
मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से माननीय सरकार से अपील करना चाहता हूं, जो आयुष्मान योजना से आप फ्री तो दे रहे हैं, जो हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस की जो डिफरेंस कंपनियाँ हैं वो कोरोना काल के बाद वो प्रीमियम अपने हाई करती जा रही हैं, उस टैक्स स्लैब को प्रीमियम को बढ़ाती जाएगी. तो सरकार को इन पे थोड़ा शिकंजा कसना चाहिए और जो आम लोगों की पहुंच के लिए उन पर साथ बैठकर, कंपनियों के साथ बैठकर हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस पर फोकस करें और GST के दायरे से या कम कर उनको राहत देनी चाहिए. और मैं इंश्योरेंस में हूँ तो मैं पीड़ा देखता हूँ लोगों की. पैसा तो भरना चाहते हैं, वो टैक्स स्लैब में आकर भी फंस जाते हैं और हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस लेकर भी ज़्यादा प्रीमियम देकर उनको सहूलियत नहीं मिलती. तो मेरा माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी से और भारत सरकार से अपील है कि उसके लिए कुछ काउंसलिंग बनाई जाए और उनके लिए रूल लेने समय और कंपनियों के साथ बैठकर जो अनाप शनाप प्रीमियम बढ़ाए जा रहे हैं उन पर कंट्रोल करें. और GST के जो काउंसलिंग होनी थी वो अभी पेंडिंग है, तो भी उनको राहत मिले और हर एक चीज़ में लाइफ हो चाहे उसमें हो, और आम जनता को हित के लिए एक फ्री का जो हम कल्चर का है तो ऐसी पहुँच बनाए कि एक कम पैसे में उनको हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस मिले, जिससे हमारे देश की इकोनॉमी बढ़े और उसके लिए आगे ग्रोथ करे. तो इकोनॉमी जब भी बढ़ेगी जो हम सभी उसमें बच्चा हो किसी सबके लिए ये ज़रूरी है.
धन्यवाद पंकज जी. अगला हम देवेंद्र जी के पास चलते हैं. देवेंद्र जी, आप रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर से नाता रखते हैं, आप एक एजेंट हैं वहाँ पे, एक एसोसिएट हैं. आप अपने सेक्टर में एक तो पर्सनली और प्रोफेशनली आप क्या टैक्स में राहत देखना चाहते हैं, क्या बेटर आप देखना चाहते हैं?
सबसे पहली बात है कि जो सैलरी है, टैक्सेशन स्लैब है, उसको रिवाइव करने की ज़रूरत है, रिकॉन्सिल करने की ज़रूरत है. क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं अभी भी जो रियल इस्टेट पे अपना पैसा लगाना चाहते हैं, इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, और या इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना चाहते तो कम से कम रेसिडेंशियल एक प्लॉट या फ्लैट्स लेना चाहते हैं. बट वो एक बार कि उसका कदम पीछे आ जाता है ये सोच के कि टैक्स क्या लगेगा. सबसे बड़ी बात है, मैं चाहता हूँ कि अपने वित्त मंत्री जी से ये मेरी गुजारिश है कि इसके ऊपर फोकस किया जाए और इसको जैसे भी हो, मध्यम वर्गीय लोग जो हैं, जो इस देश को सबसे ज़्यादा टैक्स पे करते हैं, 9-10 रेशियोज़ है इस देश की. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर हम मध्यम वर्गीय परिवार को थोड़ा सा रिलैक्सेशन देंगे तो हमारे देश का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है बिज़नेस का वो ज़्यादा डेवलप होगा और हम ज़्यादा विकास कर पाएंगे.
और सुपर रिच पे जो टैक्स लगता है, आपने उसकी भी एक बात की थी, क्या उस पर भी एक रिव्यू होना चाहिए कि सुपर रिच पे ज़्यादा टैक्स लगे? बिल्कुल
होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल होना चाहिए. मैं कहता हूँ जितनी जो भी है उस पर एक बार रिव्यू होना ही चाहिए. और ये सबसे बड़ी बात है कि हमारे देश का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, हमारे बिजनेस का, जो हमारे डेवलपमेंट का, वो कहीं ना कहीं प्रभावित कर रहा है, जिसका नतीजा है कि आज हमारी GDP कहाँ से कहाँ जा रही है. मैं इसके ऊपर चर्चा नहीं करना चाहता. हमारी GDP कहाँ है ये हर कोई जान रहा है, लेकिन उस पर चर्चा नहीं करना. आपने सवाल किया कि इनकम टैक्स या बजट क्या होना चाहिए, मैं उस पर बात कर रहा हूँ. जो बजट अभी तक हुआ है उसमें मीडियम क्लास को किसी भी प्रकार का कोई सहूलियत नहीं है, उसको रिवाइव करने की ज़रूरत है.
धन्यवाद देवेंद्र जी. अगला हमारे पास मनीष जी हैं. मनीष जी, आप सोशल वर्कर हैं, आप सोशल सेक्टर से नाता रखते हैं. आप बताइए, आप बजट से क्या लुक फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं? अगले 15 दिन में सीतारमण जी आएंगी, एक अगले साल का जो टोन है वो सेट करेंगी कि इंडिया में क्या किस चीज़ पे खर्चे होंगे. आप बताइए, आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं एज अ सोशल सेक्टर वर्कर?
देखिए, मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से बताना चाहूँगा, बजट में दो ही बातें होती हैं, सरकार की आय और सरकार का व्यय, यानी कि खर्चा। तो सरकार की आय का जो मुख्य स्रोत है वो है इनकम टैक्स, लोगों से मिलने वाली इनकम, और जो खर्चा है वो देश के विकास में, डेवलपमेंट में, लोगों के एजुकेशन पे, उनकी शिक्षा पे, उनके रोज़गार पे खर्च होता है। जीएसटी में भी बहुत बड़ा टैक्स क्लेम गवर्नमेंट को मिलता है। मैं यहाँ कहना चाहूँगा कि टैक्स का जो स्लैब है वो इनकम टैक्स पेयर है, उनके लिए सुधार होना चाहिए। साथ में उनका जो रिबेट है, रिबेट बढ़ना चाहिए। जो अभी 3 लाख 5 लाख हो 7 लाख होना चाहिए, क्योंकि मझला जो इनकम पेयर है वो सारा का सारा छोटी इनकम में है, जो 5 लाख 7 लाख 8 लाख सालाना कमाता है। उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा छूट मिलनी चाहिए ताकि वो अपने निजी खर्चे पे, अपने परिवार के विकास पे खर्चा कर सके। जो हाई इनकम वर्ग है उन पर टैक्स का शिकंजा थोड़ा सा कसना चाहिए। उनके पास टैक्स से बचने के तमाम रास्ते हैं जो उनको सीए समझाते रहते हैं टाइम टू टाइम। तो उनसे टैक्स ज़्यादा वसूला जाए, छोटे लोगों को टैक्स में रिबेट दिया जाए। साथ ही जो बजट का खर्चा है वो कहीं ना कहीं आम आदमी तक, गरीबों तक नहीं पहुंच पाता। मेरी सरकार से गुजारिश है कि जो बजट बनाया जाए उसमें गरीबों का बिल्कुल ध्यान रखा जाए, उनकी शिक्षा पर, उनके रोज़गार पर, उनके विकास पर, इस चीज़ पर बिल्कुल ध्यान दिया जाए।
Right, as you heard, the call is for more taxes on the super rich, less taxes on the middle class, a focus on employment, a focus on education. That is what the middle class still wants. That is what India is currently aspiring to be. We heard from gentlemen from 3 different sectors working 3 different jobs, and that is what the voice of India currently is.
Lots of talking points ahead of that event, which is the Union Budget, 1st of February. You can catch all of the action right here on NDTV Profit. But before that, if you've got questions on how to position your portfolio ahead of that big event, the number on your screen is where you send us a video that you can record with your phones. Remember to keep it in a horizontal manner, and you can send that video to us on the WhatsApp number that you probably already have saved. In case you're writing to us already, perhaps later in the day you can record that video and send it to us, and the panel of experts, the who's who of Dalal Street, will be joining us in studio on the 25th of January. The number on top of your screen, incidentally, is what you need to save. You can send us your video, and chances are that we can showcase your question on national television on this platform, and you'll have the who's who, including Ramesh Damani and some others, answer those questions for you. We will of course intimate you if your question is being picked. Remember, you've got another couple of weeks, or less than a couple of weeks, in fact just about 10 days to send us that video, so get started today. Let's very quickly take you through how the markets are right now. You've had quite a bit of chop and churn since the start today, but positive right now on the screen. You have the benchmark index that is trading with gains of about 0.4% at very close to the high point of the day and holding above 23,250. The mid-cap index and the small-cap index briefly treaded into red territory, having given up quite a bit of ground, but they've recovered from that low point and are now trading higher by about 0.6% for the small-cap index, about 0.4% or so for the mid-cap index or so. I won't get into too many more details because we've already gotten into the show. Let me introduce our experts for the day. We've got Vaishali Parekh, who's the Vice President Technical Research at Prabhudas Leeladhar, as well as Mr. G. Chokalingam, Founder and Managing Director of Economics Research. Thank you so much, as always, to the both of you for taking the time. Not the easiest market to trade, so Vaishali, let me start with you. Not a specific question, but any ideas that you might have at this juncture for our viewers?
Yes, very good morning. So, of course, the market is giving a bounce back, but I think in such a scenario where market is a bit volatile and there is uncertainty, so I have chosen today Larsen because we've seen some stability at these levels, and I don't see any much of a downside from here on. Even in a worse scenario, right now it's at trading at 3,500. So I think this is a good opportunity to start accumulating this stock. For near term, for traders, I would recommend a stop loss of 3,400. 400 and look for a target of 38.50. So this is how I'm looking at one of the stocks, that is Larsen. And the other one that I would choose is Coal India, which has really been beaten down and now it's showing signs of reversal. So Coal India is one of the stocks to my liking. I think first trading target comes to 400 and the support comes at 360.
All right. So Coal India and L&T are the two counters on Vaishali's radar for today. We have got our first caller. Shankar from Chennai is calling in. Shankar, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Oh, very good morning. Happy Pongal.
Happy Pongal to you as well, Shankar.
Thank you, thank you. I want to know about BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals.
Okay.
I purchased 500 shares at the rate of 279 rupees in 6 months back.
Okay.
I missed 335. It go up to 335, and after that 335 it will slowly come down to now nearly 200 rupees is dead. I want to know. I am ready to hold minimum 1 year.
Okay.
And also I want to know it's correct time to accumulate at that level.
All right. Mr. Chokalingam, he's made his query pretty clear. I'll straight away come to you. Are these the correct levels to accumulate BHEL?
You can hold on even after the fall. The valuation is little stretched. Instead of BHL, you can consider Coal India. We have a buy report. Coal India also corrected a lot, but the advantage is that sitting on a huge cash and the dividend yield is likely to be a little above 5%. Not only that, the coal outlook for next 10 years looks very robust. And very interesting economic insight is that our forex reserves are going down, rupee is weakening. This would obviously call for more restriction in import of coal, which would be positive for Coal India. Apart from that, Coal India also spoke about possible unlocking value from 2 of its subsidiaries, and it's also expanding coal output, and it is year after year giving a higher target to the government of India to produce more coal. So therefore, I prefer, from my research point of view, Coal India to BHEL.
All right. We got the first question on WhatsApp that has come through, and it's come from Malaysia. I'm going to take this. Prasad is writing in on India Shelter, which is the NBFC, and he's bought at levels of 718. The stock is currently trading at 633 or thereabouts. It's been under a tad bit of pressure. He has asked whether, based on an expectation of some SOPs perhaps given to the housing space in the budget, would you hold for the long term? Would you add more? Mr. Chokalingam, any ideas on this?
Sorry, I couldn't get the fundas of this company.
No problem, sir. But if you can then speak about the NBFCs with a focus on the housing lending space, what ideas do you think exist?
Yeah, definitely I can give a broader guidelines. Right now, what is happening? The growth is slowing down, not only for the banks, even for NBFC. In FY24, the credit growth was around 16% for banking, and that is now expected to be around 12%. That similar proportionate decrease is in finance companies as well, finance lenders. The most important is that there are different layers of competition has emerged in the last 3-4 years in terms of small finance banks, small finance companies, microfinance, payment banks. Even the consolidation of PSU banks are doing tough competition. Then you have a larger finance companies like Bajaj Housing, Bajaj Finance, and PNB. So the competitive layer has increased. So what he can do is he can find out whether the gross book value, whether it is within a range of 1.5 times as compared to the market price. So market price divided by gross book value is less than 1.5. One can hold it. Otherwise, at this point in time, unless you are talking about names like Bajaj Housing or PNB, one should not give more than 1.5 times price to book value. And I believe FY26 also going to be a little tough for entire private lenders.
And specifically in the microfinance space is what we've been seeing. We saw a Goldman Sachs note on Credit Access Grameen earlier in the day. That stock and several others reacting as well. Shriram Finance is the next counter we're talking about because Mayur is calling us from Mumbai and he's got a question on this. Mayur, morning, and how can we help you today?
Hi.
Hi.
So the stock Shriram Finance just split into 2:10 ratio.
Right.
So my question is interesting. Would the stock be able to again reach its free split value in coming years, which is around 5,000, 6,000 from the current level of 532?
It is an interesting question. I agree with you, Mayur. So from that perspective, let me go to Mr. Chokalingam. I was reading a Motilal Oswal note, Mr. Chokalingam, on this stock, and the target that they've given is 700. I do not know about the targets that the investors looking for on the stock, but what are the potential upsides in your opinion?
Impossible. If it happens, I should quit the profession. If you are talking of time frame of 2-3 years or even 4-5 years, of course it can happen in 10-20 years or 25 years, but impossible in 3 to 5 years also 10 times. Why? You have to understand, when Shriram Finance was evolved and it grew in 90s and 2000, 2010, there are very limited number of players in the lending space. All these players remain strong after a shake-up in the finance companies in the 90s. So they are a small base. If you look at the banking credit base itself, it used to be about 7 lakh crore when these finance companies were formed. Now you are talking of more than 140, 150 lakh crore. So there was a structural change in the economy and in the banking and financial, and this was a quality finance company. So these kind of companies grew to that level. But now to jump 10 times in 3 to 5 years, it is impossible because, as I already mentioned, the competitive layer, there are many number of competitive segments have entered the market, and most of them are listed recently. So everybody is under tremendous pressure to perform. Then you have the fintech finance companies as well, and then there is economic growth slowdown. So considering all that, yes, I agree with Motilal Oswal. That kind of return is possible in the time frame of 6 months to 1 year. But otherwise, impossible to aspire that kind of return even in 3 to 5 years.
So that's the view coming in on Shriram Finance. Moving on to the next query, Sandeep from, okay, we don't know where he's from, but he's bought CDSL, bought at 350 a piece, and he's holding 1,350 shares. So he's sitting on a significant profit of 17 lakh rupees. He wants to know what should be the next course of action. Vaishali, I'll come to you. 17 lakhs is a big amount. Should he book some profits or should he wait for more upside?
Actually, I don't think so. These are the stocks which are not meant for trading and all, and I think long-term chart also is quite intact. So if I were to ask me, I would say I would add more even at these levels, 1,500 acts as a support. We've seen the stock making a recent high of 1,900 plus and got decently corrected. So I think these are the levels that one can add more, at least not book partial profit, but I would say hold on. We can have a relook for a target of 2,000 levels.
All right, 2,000 is the target for CDSL from Vaishali from a longer term perspective. Moving on to the next caller, Nirmala from Tamil Nadu is calling in. Nirmala, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Hey, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I have a query on IFCI.
Okay.
I bought 200 shares at 86 rupees. But
Okay.
now the price went to 54 rupees.
Yeah.
So is it good time to hold or shall I sell it?
Okay.
How long?
Yeah.
Is it good to hold for long term? What is the suggestion, ma'am?
All right. Nirmala, quickly before I move on to the guest for your query, what was the kind of thinking behind buying IFCI?
So at the time when I was looking that market, right, IFCI was moving good. So I thought since it's and it was in my budget, so I felt it will go at least. I aimed at least 65 rupees. 100 rupees from 86.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chokalingam, IFCI is the counter. Do you have the coverage on this particular shares?
No, I don't have, but I looked at it. Maybe another 10% return is very much possible, considering the investment book of IFCI.
10% is possible on the stock. So would you say hold, or would you say that there are better opportunities? And if so, where would you switch?
Definitely, there are better opportunities. I would suggest a stock like Bank of Maharashtra. I believe it's a fabulous banking play. Lowest NPA, Q3 business numbers have come. The credit growth has been almost the highest in the industry so far for Q3. And just to give one insight, the quarterly profit itself is 3 times entire outstanding net NPA. So that speaks about the strength of the bank in terms of profitability as well as quality of assets. So I would recommend strongly Bank of Maharashtra.
Quite a few of these banks seeing a very wild swing between yesterday and today. Of course, Bank of Maharashtra down about 3.5%. Earlier on in the week, of course, it gained, and quite a few of the banks also gained. So there you go. So quite a bit of a ride this week. Narendran has got the next question asking about BEL, which he's bought at levels of 230. And the stock is currently at 271, so he's making quite a bit of ground. He has bought 3,000 shares, so therefore 1.25 lakh in the green. On the charts, Vaishali, would you suggest a hold or an exit at this point, or what levels would you look at?
I think it's definitely a hold, and actually, see, fundamentally also the stock is gaining a lot of positive news, and technically also we have seen a good correction right from 340 levels, and right now on a cluster of support levels of 270, 260. So I would say definitely hold and wait for this stock to move towards 320, 340 levels. That is the level where he can book partial profits.
I'm going to take one more question to you, and Zentech is the name of the counter that we're looking at. Vaishali, this is a question from Anirudh, who's writing in from Kolkata. He's bought at levels of 500, I believe. Let's pull up the chart and see where it's currently trading. Wow, so that's quite the buy price for him. 300 shares he's got, and he's in the green, 5 lakh. We're getting a lot of viewers that have bought at early levels and are continuing to hold. What is the advice that you would give to Anirudh?
So I would say actually, of course, we are seeing a bit of a corrective move, but this is what has happened right now in the market. So I would say 2,000 should be taken as a stop loss and continue holding, because if you're looking at a long-term perspective, in all likelihood, this can go towards 2,800 to 3,000 levels. So, but keep a trailing stop loss. 2,000 is the level to watch. If we see the stock moving below that and sustaining below that, then it could trigger a further profit booking going towards 1,900 or 1,850. So yes, hold with the 2,000 stop loss.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Zen Technology. Moving on to the next query. I believe we're done with Satyara. Shivani, we were supposed to take. Okay, Shivani from Mumbai has a query on Acme Solar. She got an allotment in the IPO and got 51 shares at 289 a piece, and she would like to know as to what is the fundamental view on this particular counter. Mr. Chokalingam, do you have coverage on Acme Solar?
Yeah, I don't have coverage, but I have broadly looked at all these solar companies. I think the theme has been overdone across the board. Again, like small finance banks and finance companies, small bank and small finance companies. In solar also we saw entry of too many players. I believe it is going to be very tough for small and mid-sized companies when Adanis and Ambanis also have entered into green energy. So if there is any small rise also, I would exit Acme Solar.
All right, so that's the view on Acme Solar. It's a sell. We have to slip into a very quick break. We've got more time on the other side to take more of your questions, so I'd encourage you to stay tuned.
I present the budget for a historic
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profit's research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profit's research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profit's research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in?
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, a show where we get all your stock related queries answered, whether they're fundamental or technical, through our guests. Viewers who are just tuning in, you can ask all your stock related queries on the number that will be flashing on your screen right away. You can either WhatsApp us or call us. We have our next caller, Baby John from Kerala, is calling in. Baby John, a very good morning to you. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
No, I would like to know the medium term prospects of JSW Energy.
Okay.
I am having 160 shares purchased at the rate of 620 rupees.
Okay. Okay. And
I would like to know the views of Mr. Chokkalingam regarding in the context of the big ticket acquisition made by the company recently.
All right. All right. Mr. Chokkalingam, I'll come to you. Recently they've also received a letter of intent of 3.6 gigawatt, and he's talking about the acquisition as well. Your views on this particular counter, and from a medium term perspective, what could be the target for JSW Energy?
Yeah, it's a great group, JSW. In the steel, they built a big business when Tata Steel went to Europe. In energy, they built a big business. New areas also they are building. So if they already prove their credential in growth organically as well as through acquisitions. The only concern is that it's a great company, but is it a great valuation at current price also? I doubt. Because the value of these companies, you have to see the consolidated level of the energy capacity in megawatt, and then see enterprise value per megawatt. So that is a benchmark we do. When you do that, it is slightly stretched. But one need not book losses, because definitely around the 620, 630 range very much possible in the short to medium term. But if somebody wants to hold it for 3-4 years, then definitely yes, all this acquisition will bring in some cash flow, reduce the debt, and improve the profitability and the bottom line. So therefore, hold maybe with a 10-15% upside in the short to medium term.
All right, so that's the view on JSW Energy. By the way, we spoke with the management, and that interview is available on our YouTube channel. So I'd invite you to take a look at that, baby, in case you want to know more about what the company thinks about the prospects going forward. We've got Chandan Jain from Hubli, who is asking about Cello World, which he's bought at levels of 648. He's got a 1-year time frame, I believe, and he's wondering whether to hold or exit this at this point. Vaishali, on the charts, what's the view on Cello World?
Well, actually, there is no respite. The stock has only been correcting. So I would say if you get a chance to exit, do exit on a bounce. Right now, there is not even an indication that it is on a possible way of reversal. So I would say look for an exit.
So that's the view coming in on Cello World. But moving on to the next query, we have Gopinath R from Mysuru, who wants a view on Hyundai. He has, got Hyundai 7 shares at 1960 a piece, and he's added further also. He's not given the quantity of further. No, he's given. Okay, so 12 shares he's added more at a dip of 1860, and he wants to know as to what could be the next outlook for Hyundai. Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you on this one. Where will the price go, let's say, 1 year down the line?
It may stagnate, or it may give you maximum if market is good, 5-10%. And also it can have a 10-15% downside risk also. This is purely based on understanding of the industry. A lot of report is saying that the passenger vehicle industry has sold, the record level of vehicles. But that is not the way to look at as far as the stock market is concerned. If you see the industry has sold a record level, but the year-on-year growth rate is sinking. And with the growth slowdown, I have my own doubt whether passenger vehicle industry can have a robust growth in the short to medium term. Long-term outlook looks good, no doubt. So I would say that at best it can stagnate, and there is a possibility of even slip down, even 5-10% in 2025. Unless passenger vehicle industry comes back with a vengeance and start showing strong double-digit growth. So I am not that confident of buying and holding Hyundai Motor at current level.
That has tested the patience of a lot of investors that got an early Hyundai Motor. So certainly something to watch in the rest of the year. We've got the next question coming in on the phone line, and we've got Mohan calling us from Hyderabad. Hi Mohan, thanks so much for calling, and how can we help you today?
Yes, sir. Good morning to you both, sir, and Mr. Chokalingam, sir.
Yes.
My query is about Kirloskar Ferrous Industries, sir.
Yes.
I bought 500 shares. It's oscillating between 580, 550 to 600. I bought it 628.
Okay. And what was the thinking? So it's a part of the Pune-based group, which is the Kirloskar group, and it's a manufacturer of pig iron and ferrous castings.
Exactly.
What drew you to this company, Mohan?
Sir, recently they have amalgamated ISMT, which is a Sikh company. For the last 12 years, it has been incurring losses. They have successfully took over and they made it profitable quarterly, and they got it merged into that company. And I came to know this Kirloskar Ferrous is a profit-making company and generating profits, and they would get the income tax exemption for the next 8 years because of their merger of loss-making company. And for prospectors, I would like to know from Sir Chokalingam.
And so, am I right in assuming that this is a long-term hold for you?
Exactly.
So, on the fundamentals, Mr. Chokalingam, Kirloskar Ferrous, what are the prospects?
Yeah. It comes from the most reputed group, no doubt about it. And interestingly, for some unknown reasons, its PE multiple also get re-rated in every bull market, and it defies the logic of valuation for the commodity space. Being a ferrous-based company, it still commands even 30-40 PE. Now it has corrected. coming straight to this question, yes, for long term you can hold, but I have doubt whether in the short term it can pick up in a big way, because even now it is trading at a little stretched valuation of around 26, 27 PE. It generally for this kind of business is highly stretched. But as I said earlier, once in 2-3 years there is a huge vertical shift in the valuation. So therefore you can hold it for long term, and you can go for revival of this entire space, commodity, metal, steel space, and then also for possible upgrade in its valuation. It most likely to happen if somebody is holding it for 1 to 2 years. So it's a long term hold.
So it's a long-term hold on Kirloskar Ferrous, is the view coming in from Mr. Chokalingam. Moving on to the next query, Mr. Chu, I believe, is asking a query on Ashok Leyland. What he's observed is that FIIs...
Satya.
No, so I think he's changed.
Mr. Chokalingam.
Acha, Mr. Chokalingam, okay. Okay, Satya is asking this query to Mr. Chokalingam, and he's saying that in the last 1 month, we've seen a huge increase in terms of FII buying in Ashok Leyland, and he wants to know as to what could be the next, target, or what could be the view in terms of fundamental for the next 1 to 2 years for Ashok Leyland. Mr. Chokalingam, your view on this particular counter?
Yeah. Again, it's also a quality company. I'm happy that a lot of people are, bought a quality company. May not be the right valuation, right timing, but all quality companies. View for 2 years is good, no doubt, because right now the commercial vehicle segment is going through little stress. For last 12 months or even for 18 months, that space is not showing any strong double-digit growth, and there are no signs of the double-digit growth getting revived in the short term. So hold for long term. In 2 years time frame, definitely it can start rewarding.
I'm hopeful that Vaishali, you have enough data on Swiggy to give me a view. Because we've got Mr. Siva Surya, who's okay. Let me just try and pronounce the name of this place. It's Mayila Dutturai. Okay, I hope I got that right, from Tamil Nadu. And he's bought at an average price of 510 rupees, so he's lost a little bit of ground from that point. It's back up today. Would you hold for the short term?
I would say hold, yes, definitely hold, because it's showing signs of reversal. Keep a stop loss of 455, and I think this can bounce at least up to 520 levels. So that is how I would look at the stock right now.
So 520 is the target given by Vaishali on Swiggy. Moving on to the next caller, Hariharan from Bengaluru is calling in. Hariharan, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Yes, very good morning. So my doubt is relating to MobiKwik.
Yes.
So I bought MobiKwik at 601.
Okay.
And so all the payment platforms like Paytm is also down.
Right.
So by 200, 300 bucks in stocks.
Right.
So my query is whether MobiKwik has potential. So it recently got its IPO also.
All right.
So even like marginal, some few profit that they have displayed in their first results.
Right.
So my question is MobiKwik overpriced, or whether it has potential? Should I hold or sell?
Right. Hariharan, when you bought MobiKwik, I believe it was from a longer term perspective?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you on this one. Do you have coverage on MobiKwik?
I don't cover digital companies, but still coming on show for your channel today, somehow I was expecting some retail investors would have been caught in the recent fall. So I already prepared for it. The revenue growth is robust. If you see the first half, the revenue has grown at around 66%. But if you look at the EBITDA, in the first half it is just 9 crore as compared to 20.5 crore last year, comparable period. So this is a big concern for me. Now I assume that, okay, 25 is gone, 26 it will come back to 100% profit growth. If I assume FY26 and FY27 100% year-on-year profit growth, very extraordinarily robust assumption, still it would be trading at around 24 times EBITDA in 2027. So my question is whether when the company is going through little stress on the bottom line in the current fiscal, whether it can come back, even if it comes back with 100% profit growth, whether 24 times enterprise value to EBITDA is justifiable in 2027. So therefore, I would not buy, I would not hold also, but then most of these digital companies, a lot of young new investors, they start liking it, and many people play it for tactical purpose. So therefore, I would believe that it could be a good sell in case there is any tactical upside in the short term, anywhere from 5 to 10% or 15%.
It is that kind of market where any whiff of a bad news or a bad number is getting beaten down very badly. You saw it with HCL Tech. Some people saying they didn't see something that was so egregious about the stock. The stock is, of course, recovered just a tad bit in trade today, but nothing too much to speak of. Look at that price trend and you see what I'm talking about. We've got the next caller, Surya, who's calling in from Karnataka. And Surya, good morning. I believe you want to know about NHPC, right?
Yes, Alex. First of all, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, I have been a regular watcher and I'm thankful that you took my call.
I'm glad that you've called.
The query is on NHPC, which I bought it at 96.5 and a number of shares is around 800.
Okay.
So would like to know the long-term view and what is the sector growth in terms of the CAGR growth, like how much it can go ahead.
And so you don't have any near-term requirement for funds you're willing to hold for the long term, Surya?
Yes, absolutely. More than 1+ years only.
Okay. We're getting a lot of fundamental questions today, and so therefore I'm going to have to come back to you, Mr. Chokalingam. Sorry, Vaishali, to keep you waiting. NHPC bought it very close to 100 levels. If I'm not mistaken, so 96.5. The stock is currently at 78.2. Long-term fundamentals is a question. Does it hold, and what are the prospects?
Idle power projects, they don't get the kind of valuation you see for solar or even wind energy. They are much cheaper in terms of valuation. So per megawatt basis. So this is I already analyzed it, and it is trading at what one would expect 1 or 2 years down the line if you go by enterprise value per megawatt. However, the stock has been beaten down. It is also low retail float, and also there are talk of further expansion in the various segment of our power business. Hence, for long term, one can hold with a target of around 96 rupees for NHPC.
All right, so that's the view coming in on NHPC. The next counter that we're talking about here is Suzlon Energy. John Joseph has a query on Suzlon and he wants to know whether he should keep holding it at current levels or sell. Vaishali is not given the quantity and his buy price, but how does Suzlon look on charts right now?
So I would say actually the long-term chart is very good, and we have seen good corrective move coming in. And as a disclaimer, I would like to mention that we have recommended this stock today to our clients. Well, technically, if you were to ask me, 53 makes a double bottom. So the downside risk is quite favorable as to the reward that one can expect. I'm looking at a target of around 70 from here on. So according to me, you should hold on, keep a stop loss below 53 and ride through for the rally for a target of 70 and plus.
All right, so hold is a view on Suzlon. Raghu from Bengaluru is asking whether any prospects exist for purchase in the defense sector, and he specifically spoken about Cyient DLM. I'm wondering, Mr. Chokalingam, some of these stocks have given up the gains from earlier on in the year or last year. Do they look a little more attractive right now? And would you? So he's got a very long-term holding or time horizon. He's willing to hold for 5-10 years. So I know that he will have to review his holdings multiple times, but for that kind of horizon, would you suggest a fresh entry in any of the defense stocks?
Unfortunately, many defense stocks are valued, already discounting even 3-5 years of earning growth. That's my personal view. Coming to Cyient DLM, it's a great company, but valuations are extremely stretched. If you see the P ratio on expected earning in the current year and then profit growth year on year in the first half, it is not justified. So I would suggest, in that group instead of Cyient DLM, you can play through Cyient itself, because Cyient DLM is a subsidiary. So in case Cyient DLM pulls back its profit growth, that will be reflected in Cyient. And second advantage is that Cyient has floated 100% subsidiary in semiconductor business. So they already proven their ability in unlocking value from Cyient DLM. So therefore, I have a confidence that Cyient will make it successful even in the semiconductor space. And also the stock has corrected and valuation in the relative term also very attractive. So I would prefer Cyan to DLM.
For Cyan to Cyan, DLM is the view coming in from Mr. Chockalingam. Moving on to the next caller, Konda Reddy from Vijayawada is calling in. A very good morning to you. I believe, Mr. Reddy, your query is on escorts.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your query? Go ahead.
I'm having 500 shares at the rate of 600 rupees for a long time. I'm prepared to hold it for a long term also. But my question is right now, shall I hold it further or can I switch it to Tata Motors?
All right. Mr. Reddy, I'm seeing that you're sitting on a profit of 14 lakh rupees, which is quite significant. So you bought it at very attractive levels. Mr. Chockalingam, I'll come to you on this one. Should he partially book his profits and move to Tata Motors? Is that the right approach?
My personal research perspective is that one can partly sell and put it in the FD instead of buying Tata Motor, because in my view, Tata Motor has got a lot of uncertainties. As I already discussed about passenger vehicle and even SUV sales, suddenly the growth rate, which was too robust, has come down. Then you always have a little volatile European business. So I am not pretty confident. Escorts also, maybe at best one can hold for long term, because right now if you see the tractor industry is going through a little difficult time. And within tractor industry, only Mahindra is doing relatively far superior to other tractor players, even as compared to Escorts. But however, in a nutshell, Escort is a long-term definitely great hold. But if this kind of latest monthly performance continues, then Escort can correct in the short term. So therefore, either it's a hold or, book profit and safeguard the money.
Got the money. Of course, be mindful of the tax treatment of your fixed deposits. You will be taxed at slab rate. So pay attention to that. And this is, by the way, an equity query show. And Mr. Chockalingam is telling you that there are better options available, not Tata Motors for sure, though. We've got the next caller. Suman is calling in from Hyderabad. And Suman, thanks so much for calling us. I believe your question is on Everest Canto, right?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, I have just acquired this Everest Canto at 160 rupees, 1500 shares.
Okay.
So just wanted to know what is the long-term view on this company. I can hold it for about 18 months.
18 months, okay. And you bought this based on the price action, is it?
Yeah, yes, price action, correct.
Price action, all right. So,
fundamental, I wanted to know.
You want to know about fundamentals, okay. Mr. Chockalingam, I'm coming back to you. This is a manufacturer of high-pressure seamless gas cylinders. And it is essentially equipment used for the storage of natural gas as well as liquids and air. What are the prospects? Have you studied the company?
Yeah, I would not give buy call, rather I would sell, because for two reasons. It's trading around 30 PE. I feel certainly it is highly stretched. And also if you see the annual trends of its business over the last 5 years, extraordinary volatility in the bottom line. If from 15 crore it goes to 228 crore, then becomes 53 crore. So I always do not give very high valuation multiple, within a span of 4-5 years if you have huge volatility in the bottom line. So therefore, I would maintain a sell call on Everest Canto.
That's the view coming in on Everest Canto. Moving on to the next query, Sagar. Guru. Okay, that's the counter. Okay, Guru has a query on steel strips wheels, and he wants to know whether this is the correct level to make an entry for this particular counter. Vaishali, how does it fare on charts?
I think it's corrected to quite an extent, and I don't see, because statically it's come to an oversold zone also. So I would say yes, these are the appropriate levels to buy, with a target, near-term target coming to 220 to 25. We would see a further confirmation of uptrend above 230, and that could take you to 270 levels.
Not very sure if we're going to have coverage on this next stock. I'll come back to that in just a bit. Colgate Palmolive. We got Niva from Chennai, who's got 3 shares of Colgate Palmolive at 2,840 levels. At what levels can more be added, and what is the target price that you would give? Vaishali, it's a stock that has given up quite a bit of ground over the last few months. Would you add more at the current level?
I think I would rather give it a miss because you don't see really great upside coming in these stocks. You rather get into ITC if FMCG is your sector that you would invest in. I would prefer ITC over this.
The next query is from Bhaskar, and he wants to know as to what hospital stock is good, at the current levels from a longer term perspective. Mr. Chokalingam, your view on this?
Yeah. Unfortunately, most of the hospital stocks have rallied in the last 3 years in a very big way. So, if he's conservative investors can consider Apollo Hospital because it's a large cap and the stock also corrected. The investors who can take a little risk can consider Shalby Hospital. Shalby Hospital came out of the IPO more than 4-5 years ago, around 250 rupees. Now you are getting at a good discount to IPO price, and that is not the only reason for recommending it. When you look at enterprise value per bed, it is hardly about 1.2, 1.3 crore, whereas many hospital stocks are trading at anywhere from 2 crore to even 8 crore per bed. So I may be wrong, but I have extraordinary confidence in Shalby. So that is why personally also in my company also recently we started buying Shalby Limited. So investors should consider our disclosure.
Okay, yeah, point well made. And Shalby is a buy from the hospital space. It is time on the program to jump into the rapid fire segment, and this is where we toss as many questions as possible at our experts so that we can accommodate as many as possible over the course of 2 minutes. I'm going to start with Kalyani's question, and this is Container Corporation of India. And this one's it's not a specific time frame, but Vaishali, would you buy at the current price is the question?
I think fairly beaten down, so buy with a stop loss of 700.
All right, Timken is the next counter. Vijay is holding 40 shares, bought at 2915 a piece. From a longer term perspective, Mr. Chokalingam, should he keep holding it?
Yeah, one can hold it considering the fall now.
Okay, Transformers and Rectifiers is the name of the counter, bought at levels of 590. And this is a question from Mr. Venkat Ramani. Would you hold for a period of 15 months, Vaishali?
Yes, it's in a very good, strong uptrend. Continue holding.
Yes Bank is the next counter. Is this a good time to enter, Vaishali?
Avoid.
Sun Pharmaceuticals long-term views being sought. 1,753 is a buy price. Mr. Chokalingam, is it a hold?
Yeah, hold for long term.
All right. Mr. Yogarani from Saudi Arabia is asking whether what stock he should buy at current price to see the budget rally. Mr. Chokalingam, your view on this?
I would give my recommendation after seeing a fine print of the budget.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Understood. CG Power, 2,000 shares bought at an average price of 609. Srividya wants to know whether to hold or sell. Elevated price? No, it is below the current price. Vaishali, on the charts?
Add more.
Okay.
Dixon is the next counter, bought at 17,600 levels, bought 150 in quantity. 6 to 8 weeks, what could be the target, Vaishali?
Look for a target of 18,000 to 19,000.
Polyplex is the name of the counter. 1,480 is a buy price. Soundarajan from Chennai wants to know whether it's a hold for 2 years. Mr. Chokalingam?
Sell.
Sell.
All right. Hindalco is the next counter. What could be the next price target, Vaishali?
I would look at 620, the next hurdle.
Okay. All right. So we've covered quite a bit of ground. Thank you so much to Mr. Chokalingam as well as for Vaishali for your questions, for the answers to the questions that you provided. Thanks so much as always for taking the time. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Ask Profit. Thanks so much for joining in. We'll be back tomorrow to take more of your questions. So do stay tuned.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Hello and welcome to KYC, a brand new show at NDTV Profit. And in this show, we take a look at a company. We talk about how things have panned out for the company in terms of its financials over the past few years. We also talk about the current state of affairs, and of course, consider the many other various parameters and talk to you about how the company could potentially do. Of course, we'll also get in a perspective many times a management, but also often an analyst with a perspective on the company. And today we're going to talk about Biocon. Well, Biocon has been one of those pharma companies, or should I say healthcare companies, which has been in focus, and it also has seen a lot of volatility of late. But to tell you what it does, well, it's a manufacturer of biotechnology products, and it does look at biosimilars. Of course, it's also into research services. We've already seen Syngene International spin off from Biocon a few years ago. It's also into generics. Biocon, of course, of late has been in the news on account of biologics. It's business which has been taking off significantly. And we're going to take a lot of these aspects and talk about that in future. But as we always do in every show, well, we address the company with respect to what it has done. So among the many other factors that we are in fact talking about, we talk about the income statement, how the growth has been for its profitability, as well as its, your bottom line, the kind of margins it comes up with, how the state of the balance sheet is at this point in time. We also talk about production and guidance numbers along with the return ratios, and let's not forget the cash flow statements as well, something that we talk about too. Moving on, we're also considering the shareholding, the street credentials in terms of how the stock has done, as well as street coverage and valuations. But, that said, let's start by taking a look at the first thing, and that is, of course, the financial performance with respect to its income statement. Now, we do know that, it's been a fairly challenging period for Biocon. But I'm gonna also get in my colleague Varsha, who's going to join us to tell us about a lot of the other aspects. But as far as Biocon's financial performance is concerned, we're looking at a 27% growth, CAGR as far as its revenues are concerned. Its EBITDA growing at around 27%. Its margins for FY24 stood at around 22%, but its profit for the same period has only grown by as much as 11%. And of course, there are plenty of challenges there. But you will find it surprising that while the CAGR in terms of its top line and its operational metrics has been fairly good, and we'll give it a thumbs up to that because, it's not really translated into the kind of traction in the stock price. And the more we uncover about the stock and the more we uncover about the company, the more we will realize as to why there's been so much volatility in the price action. So let me hand it over to Varsha, who will talk to us about the balance sheet. Varsha, how is that looking?
Well, thank you again for that. So if you look at the balance sheet, it's pretty not good. So we would actually give a thumbs down for that. Now why? Because if you see the equity shareholders, that stand at around 20,000 odd crore, but borrowings is actually a concern, and that's also one of the reasons why the net profit CAGR was 11% versus 27% of revenue CAGR, because of the high interest outgo that the company has seen. Now if you see the borrowings are at 16,277 crore, though company has acquired low financing debt. The benefit of that will be seen in interest cost, in next 1 year. Currently the borrowing stands at around 16,000 odd crore, whereas out of that the long-term borrowing stands at around 13,000 crores and short-term borrowings at almost 3,000 crore. Now, if you see the cash in bank for the company is it's 2,259 crore. Now, the main concern over here, which actually investors also didn't like, is the debt position of the company. And that's the reason the company has gone for low financing debt agam.
Sure. All right. So that's as far as the balance sheet is concerned. So not exactly in the strongest of wickets out there, because of your long-term borrowings coming through and taken together. It's for a pharma company, this debt to equity ratio looks slightly higher. But let's talk about your return ratios then. And again, the return ratios have not been, up to the mark. We're looking at your return on, capital employed just at around 6% for the last couple of years, which means that your return on equity ratios will also be fairly low. And this certainly is a bit of a challenge, because you'd like to look at 20%, 25% and over that when it comes to these key return ratios. So it's a thumbs down for that. But cash flows, Varsha, how do they look right now?
So, Agam, the reason why return ratios are low is one of the reasons because they're investing a lot. So because of that, your base increases and you're seeing this low return ratios. Now, why I am saying this, because this is linked to the cash flow from operations also, rather net cash flow. If you see, company has got healthy cash flow from operation at around 3,000 crore, which has increased over the years. But if you see the net cash flow is at negative 380 crore. Now, why? Because company has been investing a lot. That's the reason why you see a net cash flow is negative, though operation cash flow from operation is positive. And this is okay. I would like to give a benefit of doubt to the company, because this is on the growth path, and company is actually entering into biosimilars, or rather into Biocon Biologics is into biosimilars, and they are investing a lot when it comes to their Malaysian facility. So we'll see almost $90 to $100 million they are investing. So this is because of the capacity expansion. You see your cash flow from investment is so huge increase when it comes to investing activities, and that's the reason we are seeing this negative cash flow. But on the operational side, cash flow from operation, we would like to give a thumbs up.
Okay, so there you have it. Those are the most important financial statements of the company. Let's look a little bit beyond and talk about the shareholding. It seems like it's a fairly well-held company. If you consider the shareholding, while the promoters continue to hold over 60% in the company, there's a fairly large institutional holding in Biocon as well. Domestic institutions particularly, as well as FIIs. And it seems like there's not been a lot of selling from the institutional standpoint. When it comes to your outstanding shareholdings, that still stands at around 20%, but overall, considering 80% is with promoters and institutions, we'd give this one a thumbs up as well. But Varsha, the volatility comes into the returns of the share price, and that's not exactly heartening at the moment.
Correct, Agam. So if you see, it has not given much returns to investors now, because Biocon was actually not doing much. Now, why people are betting now on Biocon? Because of the outlook that we'll in a moment speak about. But let's see the stock returns. If in the last 6 months, company has given a 7% return, and in the last 1 year the company has given 37%. While if you see, all the pharma companies have given a good return, while the pharma index in 2024 was a top performer of the year, but this company has not given much returns as expected, considering the size of the company. But yeah, outlook seems good. But on the stock returns, we would give actually thumbs down.
Okay, and let's talk about the street coverage then. Now, it does seem like there are